Our motoring tip of the week concerns brake squeal. One of our viewers emailed us with a comment or complaint about his Civic Type R and the degree of brake squeal that he's experiencing with this car. So there's a number of things that can produce brake squeal, and some of them are actually by design. And that is the fact that on most new cars, for decades now, we have a little reed of metal riveted to the back side of the pad, and when the pad wears down to the level where it needs to be replaced, this little reed of metal contacts the rotor and produces a high-pitched squeal that audibly tells you it's time to replace the brake pads and service the brake system. Now, that wasn't the case with our viewer. This was quite a new car where he had not reached any kind of kilometers that would indicate he'd need new brake pads. This was sort of the nature of the beast kind of thing. So when you're replacing brake pads on a vehicle, certainly I always try as much as possible to go with OE dealer pads. Here's a set of brake pads that I just picked up the other day at the Honda dealer for a Civic a few years old, just driven as a daily driver, not the Type R, not a performance-driven car. But you can see the great levels of noise attenuation that Honda goes to try and prevent brake squeal. So first of all, a really quality pad that they use, and with the set of pads, they give you these vinyl-clad shims and these other shims here that go on the back of the inboard pad on top of the vinyl-clad shim, and they give you a special lubricant to coat those shims and place them on the pads. They fit perfectly, and in most cases, when you do a brake job, you'll never get a complaint about squeal when you use original brake pads. When you go aftermarket, you might be dealing with those kinds of things. But as I said a minute ago, it isn't necessarily cause for alarm. A little bit of brake squeal here and there, and it can come and go with temperature and humidity as well. You may have noticed that on your car as well, that it can be very fickle and tough to chase these problems. Now, going back to our viewers Type R and other performance cars, to some extent, it's something that you have to learn to live with. You bought into the race car, road going race car kind of thing with the ultra high performance car. It is kind of the nature of the beast, because in many cases in our climate, it's very difficult to get to the temperature where those brake pads really do their thing and really work well. But in any case, keep your eyes and ears open, because if you get a constant squeal and it goes away when you apply the brake pads, you might be down to the wear indicator, and it certainly doesn't hurt to do a visual inspection. That's your motoring tip of the week.